Just a small town girl living in a lonely world. What? What do you mean we're starting? Well, can we edit that part out? Well, I look ridiculous. I don't want anyone knowing I like Journey. Shalom. Eliyokim Cohen. Jews News Briefs, May 19th, 2011. The Hebrew date is the 15th of ER on the Jewish calendar. And we're coming to you live from the Jews News World Headquarters, which, as you know, is the penthouse floor of a very, 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 very tall and prestigious building. Our sponsor today is biggerbidder.com. It's an auction site. You have nothing to lose. Check it out. Alright, and as usual, I am here with Puke Bag because I can guarantee you that today's show is going to get very messy. So, before we start, I have to issue an apology for yesterday's show. I, for some foolish reason, thought Harmon Killebrew was Jewish. So I went through this whole 2-3 minute eulogy and this whole spiel that I gave. He's not Jewish. I was completely our fault here at Jews News. So this doesn't happen again. I want to let everyone know that I brought my fact checker into my office last night and gave him a hellacious dressing down, and then I fired him. But then I had mercy on him and rehired him because I was the fact checker. I don't know what happened. I just completely got that wrong. Okay, so before we do some today in Jewish history, I'd like to wish a very special happy birthday to Panna, my Jews News partner, who's in Ireland. She'll be making Aliyah next week, and she is turning... I don't know, because she didn't tell me. Nor has any other girl ever told me her age or weight. Okay. Let's get to some Jewish history. Today in 1936, a 43-year-old Jew named Filer Schnitzer was shot and killed early this morning by an Arab in the Armenian quarter of the old city of Jerusalem. It was the 26th murder of a Jew by Arabs since the President's services began. This was in the paper from that day. 26th Jew that was killed. Notice how it doesn't say Israeli, because Israel didn't exist yet, people. Please keep that in mind. Alright, so for today's top story, I'm not going to be able to throw up into my bag because it's too early in the show, but if you at home, the viewer, want to puke, I can almost assure you that you will after this one. San Francisco, or as I like to call it, Sodom, is actually planning on banning the circumcision of male children. They're going to ban Brit Milah. That's their plan on their November ballot. City election officials confirmed Wednesday that the initiative had received enough support to actually appear on the ballot. More than 7,700 idiots actually signed the petition to get this on there. If this measure passes, circumcision would be prohibited among males under the age of 18. The practice would become a misdemeanor offense. Selling crack, sometimes could be a misdemeanor offense. Circumcision? We've been doing this for 4,000 years. This is an American city, a big American city planning on doing this. $1,000 fine or up to a year in jail. And then they like to add, there will be no religious exceptions. I mean, I don't know if you people understand the enormity of what is going on here. A world-renowned city, a big known city, is trying to ban a 4,000-year-old Jewish custom. I mean, you know that a Jewish male is not considered Jewish until he has a Brit Milah. I hope you know that. That's why when all these Russian Jews made Aliyah to Israel, they had to snip the tip. They weren't Jewish yet. You have to have the Brit Milah to be in the covenant. So here's my prediction for San Francisco, and listen to me and listen to me well. They're going to get a monster earthquake. And don't say, oh, it's because they're on a fault line, or it's because of atmospheric pressure and it's on global warming. Hashem specifically says in the Torah that I will bless those that bless you, and those that curse you will be cursed. So a recent example of this is Japan. Japan actually went to Iran and said, we support your nuclear program. In fact, we will help you quake-proof your reactors. What happened in Japan 2 weeks later? An earthquake that knocked out their quake-proof reactors. It's called measure for measure in Judaism. That's how this works. So San Francisco, I hope for your sake that this measure does not pass, because it is not going to be smooth sailing for you if it does. Moving on to another place in the world that hates Jews, Belgium. Half of all Muslim immigrant children are anti-Semitic. Here's the quote, and this is why I wanted to read this, because I actually thought this was a little funny. The Muslims have a 5 times higher rate of anti-Semitism than among Flemish-speaking Belgians, who themselves historically have been relatively anti-Jewish. So you take an anti-Semitic country like Belgium, and then you have the Muslims coming in, and the Muslims are actually 5 times more anti-Semitic than an already anti-Semitic country. If there is one Jew right now living in Belgium, get out. Don't be blind and foolish. Get out now. Can't you see that Europe is being taken over? Alright, how about something uplifting so we can get back on the right track? The IDF is actually going to pay for the wedding of lone soldiers. If you don't know what a lone soldier is, it's like, say, 18 to 20 whatever year old man or woman comes from like Canada, and they want to sign up and fight for Israel. They're Jewish, they want to fight for the Jewish people in their homeland. They're called a lone soldier, meaning they're alone. So the IDF is actually going to pay for their weddings. I mean, this gives me so much nachas, so much pride, and this is beautiful. The army will cover the expenses of the bride's wedding dress, a suit for the groom, a photographer, wedding invitations, and a DJ. And they'll also help pay for some of the family members to come in from overseas. This is just absolutely beautiful. And it says that there's about 50 people each year that actually... Sorry. Shalom? Hi, Ima. No, I'm not following the 4 food groups. I'm not American anymore. I live in Israel. I don't think the 4 food groups have ever worked, Ima. America's the fattest country in the world. I don't know if I'm eating enough starch because I don't really know what starch is. I'm going to have a turkey sandwich later. No, Ema, I don't cut the corners anymore because only you cut them the best. Can I call you back? I'm in the middle of my show. Love you. Oh yeah, 50 people marry each year. The IDF is going to pay for pretty much everything. I mean, the guest list has to be held to 130 people, but who has more than, 130 friends these days anyway? Moving right along, to show how much people hate the Jews, the Auschwitz sign, everyone knows that famous sign. I'm not going to read it in German because I refuse to let that grotesque language come out of my mouth. In English it says, "Work sets you free." Someone hates us so much that they stole that sign from Auschwitz. It's the Holocaust Memorial Camp. Someone took the sign and cut it up into little pieces. So it's actually been restored. Moving right along to probably the second dumbest article that you're going to hear today. And this shows how the level of news that you're going to get today, because this article should make you absolutely vomit. But I'm going to read you something later that'll be even worse. So here's this. The Hamas Minister of Parliament, our supposed new person that we're supposed to be negotiating with, actually just said, quote, "The Jews are brought to Palestine for the great massacre through which Allah will relieve humanity of their evil." Great massacre. That's what he calls our coming here. I thought I came here because God gave me the land, hummus, falafel, schnitzel, all these great things. But apparently, according to him, we came for the great massacre. So Egypt, who we actually have a peace treaty with now, their foreign minister, I'm not talking about some schlub like in city council, their foreign minister said, Hamas is a true partner for peace. And to even add some more stupidity, he said, even George Washington at one point was considered a terrorist. Moving right along, we had Nakba Day this past weekend, now we're going to have Naksa Day. Naksa Day is the day that's mourning when the Jews took over Jerusalem in 1967. It was June 7th. So we all know what happened on Nakba Day. We had actual enemies from foreign countries march into Israel and plant their country's flag in our country. So a website is now calling for the third Palestinian Intifada, and it calls on Arabs to pledge an oath of allegiance to Jerusalem on Nakba Day by marching into Jerusalem. This is what's on Facebook. So, Mossad, Shin Bet, Ehud Barak, Gantz, Defense, anything. Listen to what I just said. They're planning on marching into Jerusalem. Don't you dare have the gall to think I'm so stupid that you're going to tell me that, oh, we had no clue. I mean, there was no way to predict this. But I've been posting it on Facebook.com/Jews News for 7 weeks. You know what that's like? I want to go back to this, the article from before. You know what it's like for this person to say that Hamas is a true peace partner? Sorry to get off topic here. Imagine if I came to you and said, I want to kill your whole family. I hate you. I I really don't like you. And you and your wife decide that you want to go out for a movie, and you say, you know what? Let's call Eliyokim to babysit for our kids. I mean, that's how insane the situation is right now. That the world is expecting us to negotiate with people that flat out say over and over again that they want us gone. Anyway, so graffiti artists came to Hebron and they painted graffiti all over the place. The artists themselves are not really interested in politics, they say, but they love this country and they don't make any distinction between towns inside and outside of the Green Line. This was an absolutely beautiful thing. I saw the pictures for this. You have to go to facebook.com/JewsNews and see these pictures today because I'm going to post them. B'ezrat Hashem. This is just beautiful. And if you've been to Israel and you haven't been to Hebron, then I can assure you you've never been to Israel. Before we get to our last article, because we're running out of time, I'd just like to let you know that this will be my last day of the week being not clean-shaven, because Motzi Shabbat, Saturday night, is Lag BaOmer, which is a very, very special and fun day in Judaism. There's all these bonfires all over the place. In Meron, there'll probably be 500,000 to 1 million people up there at the grave of Rav Shimon Bar Yochai. So because it's after Shabbat, the Ashkenazi Jews are actually allowed to shave before Shabbat. So Debbie's over there beaming with pride because tomorrow she'll be able to get me a little more dolled up because I will be clean shaven. So let's move on to our final article, and I always like to save the pukiest for last. Ehud Barak, who was our defense minister, actually had the nerve to say this quote. It's great. He's in charge of the defense of this country. Okay? Israel is strong enough to make Mid-East peace concessions. Let me read you the definition of concession. The act or instance of concealing, as by granting something as right, accepting something as true, or acknowledging defeat. Or acknowledging defeat! How can you be strong and give concessions? That's like... These people say these things, and the left in this country, they believe this. They actually think that it makes sense. Oh yeah, you know, being strong means making concession. Why would that make sense to anybody with a brain? How is conceding anything being strong? It's the definition of weakness. Before we conclude, I'd like to thank the Jews News staff. Everyone thinks it's just me with a computer and a nice little flower pot. But we have an enormous, enormous staff here at Jews News. We want to bring you the best news, so we work tirelessly. We even have a snack coordinator. Meaning, if anyone wants a snack, we actually have an official snack coordinator that will tell them, you know, whether it's a, you know, Snickers day or like a, you know, a Mike and Ike, just anything. I mean, that's how committed we are to bring you amazing news. So let's read some of the quotes from yesterday's show before we go. Your righteous outrage is right on. I've never laughed so hard at hearing updates. Keep them coming. I am a homosexual viewer. I really don't like you. But the flower arrangements are beautiful. Debbie. And I will continue to watch. Thank you for catering to the gay community. And I told you I thought it was a bad idea. Alright, watch the show. Post the show all over the place. Let's get this viral. This could be the biggest thing in Jewish news. Because remember, it's not news unless it's Jews news.